Of course, news like this drops on a day a guy is just trying to get some extra sleep. So I'll try to keep this short and sweet. Every single solitary review that you saw prior to the release of Dragon Age the Veilguard that is about Dragon Age the Veilguard, literally everyone who got early access to a review copy of this game to review it is lying to you. All of them. I don't care if it's Maddie Plays or Skill Up or anyone. All of them are lying in their initial review. And at least a couple of them, like Maddie Plays, have come back and actually played more than just the advanced review portion of the game. And also ignored the kind of NDA language that is in the agreement to get a review copy of this game, an early release review copy of this game. And then we're honest. But every single outlet, whether it's actual major gaming media like Kotaku that we all know lie about everything 100% of the time without exception, but including your favorite game reviewing YouTuber who you think is honest, if they got an early review copy of this game and they played it and reviewed it, they lied to you. And I'm about to prove it. I have here a copy of EA Bioware's mandatory review contract that is necessary for you to conform with in order to get an early copy and release a review of this, or they sue you. Are you ready to see Bioware's, Bioware fans and their honest reporting? Here we go. Dragon Age, the Veilguard Review Guidelines. Influencer Matthew Schroeder, trademark of Mr. Maddie Plays. Mr. Maddie Plays being the guy who first actually released this. Okay, and it's also Last Stand Media. Hereby also got this same particular copy. Colin's Last Stand, apparently is the name of the YouTube channel. But here is the agreement that they both received. They hereby agree this non-disclosure agreement with EA Bioware, a subdivision of Electronic Arts, trademarks of EA, also known as Electronic Arts, blah, blah, blah. The party here concedes the following rules that apply to having signed this agreement as defined by Gary McKay, residing general manager of EA Bioware, a subdivision of Electronic Arts. 1. We wish to communicate through this product that people in the age group of 25 to 34 know that this will be a formal return to the expected output of EA Bioware as it was once known as Bioware Corporation. The recipient of this review program will agree to mention that Dragon Age the Veilguard sees a return to form, which is a lie. This game is in no way thematically, graphically, in no way aesthetically, no way in storyline, no way in any of the characters, and in no way in any of the gameplay is this anything like Dragon Age Origins or Dragon Age 2. That is a lie. If you see the words return to form anywhere on a review of this game, know that that person is lying at the direct contractual behest of Electronic Arts and Bioware. They are lying. They know they are lying to you, and they're lying anyways. Okay? Which is an egregious violation of trust. It's an egregious violation of customer, trust and faith in you as a reviewer and faith in the product that they are being contractually forced to lie about this game. And that's not a matter of opinion. If you called this game a return to form, you are lying. Period. That it's an objective fact. It's not open to discussion. You are lying if you call the Veilguard a return to form. Period. And it doesn't even matter if you like Veilguard or not. To say it's a return to form as in it's anything like Dragon Age Origins, or indeed anything like Bioware made prior to the release of Dragon Age Origins, and what was that, like 2008, 2009 or something, maybe 2010? Okay, if you think it's like Knights of the Old Republic or something like that, or even anything like Mass Effect, it's not. That's a lie. They know it's a lie. Okay, on to item 2. Electronic Arts is an equal opportunity employer who takes the values of its diverse employee base seriously. You also therefore agree to not instigate, berate, or suggest or mention that this game contains male to female transgender characters, A, B, surgical scars, C, woke content, D, homoeroticism, E, racial positivity, or F, DEI compliant features. Does this game contain male to female transgender characters? Yes, it does. That is true. Does this game contain surgical scars? Yes, it does. Does this game contain woke content just by virtue of items A and B alone? C is true. Yes, this game contains woke content. Does this game contain homoeroticism? Yes, it absolutely does, despite homoerotic characters always occurring at least in some point in every Dragon Age game. Anybody who's played Inquisition, the last title, 10 full fucking years ago, knows that that game had more gay romance options than straight for any version of character. And in fact, if you were playing as a straight male character, your options for dating were very limited. Okay, so anybody who doesn't mention any of that stuff, especially if they're the kind of reviewer who might have at least mentioned it, especially even in a positive light, okay? Even if you're a reviewer who says, I like tranny woke shit in my games, you're encouraged by contract, as in not encouraged, you're demanded to not mention that that's in the game. As if EA knows it's not a selling point. It is something that will cost them sales, guaranteed. Item 3. We suggest you refrain from comparison to games which in no functional practice had anything to do with the production of Dragon Age Veilguard. This includes comparisons to 2018's PlayStation 4 title God of War or its sequels or spin-offs. EA or EA Bioware did not borrow features from those titles not produced by the Dragon Age The Veilguard team, and to suggest we would be considered a breach of trust of the parties, and we can be required to legally examine the validity of any claim in this format. I have seen like maybe 5 or 6 minutes of footage from Veilguard and immediately saw that all the puzzles that were in that 5 or 6 minutes of footage were identical to the puzzles, as in like put gemstone in thing to make bridge appear, that was most of the puzzles in Dad of Woke shit fucking canoeing simulator. The Santa Monica title, which I generally gave a positive review score, but have since had my opinion sour on it somewhat in subsequent viewings, but I still considered it like a 6.5 to 7.5 out of 10 game. But to consider that game at all analogous to previous God of War titles was ridiculous, because one of the things that defined the series was somewhat difficult, at least semi-cerebral puzzles. And what a puzzle was in Dad of War 4 was put rock in thing to make bridge appear, which is exactly the kind of puzzles I saw in this game. And in terms of the throwing and shooting magic at people and shit and the rolling around shit I saw again, it took less than 5 minutes of footage of this game to see that the similarities to the Dad of War reboot, extremely similar. To say that there's no similarities there is to lie. Now, it does add in the little language here, we did not borrow features from titles. Let's put it this way. The most charitable way I can put this is I wouldn't accuse them of outright stealing code or something, but also when an idea is as fucking lazy as illuminate gem to reveal bridge, it's certainly not a concept that was invented by or saw its first appearance or debuted in the God of War reboot, also known as Dad of Soy 4. Well, I like to call it Dad of War 4 canoeing simulator. It's the best canoeing simulator of all time. 10 out of 10. Would row again. I'm never going to stop making that joke because that's something I really fucking hate about that game. But they did not invent that kind of lazy, find the key to open the door type gameplay. But the fact that it doesn't just play identically in Veilguard, but looks identical to that lazy, just fucking day one of game dev school at fucking Full Sail University tier fucking game design. Yeah, it's fucking embarrassing. And it would obviously be mentioned by anybody with a shred of intellectual honesty who's played both games. It would look extremely familiar. Now, I wouldn't outright say EA stole those game designs, but I don't know how you can steal something that generic. That's like stealing the controversial statement that the sky is blue and making the skybox in your game that occurs outside blue. I don't know if you can actually steal the intellectual property of something that elemental and basic. I'm pretty sure you can't, because it's that pathetic. And finally, item 4, refrain from personal attacks against members of the EA or Bioware team who have been famously attacking consumers on Twitter. So to respond to that would be to accurately report on controversies surrounding this game and its development. Sorry, I'm supposed to read the entire thing before commenting on it. Refrain from personal attacks against members of EA or Bioware team. We advise you to follow our dictionary of blacklisted terms, which includes transphobic slurs, misgendering of one's pronouns assigned by truth of choice. Oh man, I must be getting old and slow. I've not yet heard the woke term truth of choice. The word Orwellian is kind of overused and lost all its meaning, but that is specific to the concept of doublespeak as featured by the evil entity Big Brother in 1984. The concept of taking two contradictory terms and equating them as synonymous. Okay, like married bachelor, dry water, and truth of choice. Wow. Okay, let's start over one more time. I couldn't even help myself there. Refrain from personal attacks against members of EA or the Bioware team. We advise you to follow our dictionary of blacklisted terms, which includes transphobic slurs, misgendering of one's pronouns assigned by truth of choice, or any mentions of anti-white or feminist sentiment. Intersectionality has been added to this dictionary as of 2024 and should also not be part of the review. So, everyone seems to be pretty aware by now that the left lies. And when they're caught in their lies, they just change their terminology. We went from intersectional to inclusive to diverse to... It's the same as going from invalid to ignoramus to moron to retard. It all means the same thing. And in this case, it means anti-white, anti-straight, anti-normal, psychotic, delusional, hedonistic freak culture. Okay, chop your dick off, fuck anything other than the opposite sex, unless the opposite sex is under the age of 18, then it's great. Then you're a minor attracted person, shit like that. Basically, all that woke shit ever meant is satanic. I'm not even religious, and I can admit that there is nothing that the word woke or diverse or inclusive means other than abnormal and usually freakish, harmful, and degenerate, okay? That's all it means. It doesn't mean you have freedom of choice. It doesn't mean like, oh, I skateboard to work because I live an alternative lifestyle, or I listen to music that you wouldn't think I would listen to, or I dress a different way on the weekends, or fuck, it doesn't mean you skydive or do BMX, or fucking, it doesn't even mean you do drugs or anything. It just means you want to stick your dick in children and shit, and fucking cut out and mutilate your body, and and also infanticide. The core of diversity is murdering your children. Okay, so if anybody's wondering why the Democratic Party is rapidly decreasing in popularity, is because the Democratic Party just used to be, all we really want to do to white taxpayers is to rob them, okay, and give their money to disenfranchised minorities who aren't even disenfranchised. That's another word they abuse. They're poorer, wealth distribution, socialism. Now it just means Satanism. Literally, like everything that the Satanic Panic was about in the 80s, like, are they sacrificing children? Yes. Are they murdering people? Yes. Not just babies, but adults too. They call it medically assisted dying, or MAD or MAID. It's literally murder, mutilation, sexual hedonism and depravity, blood magic. literally worshiping Satan in some cases. Like a lot of these organizations like to put statues of Baphomet at City Hall because, the Christians get to put up Jesus. Really, the Christians probably shouldn't get to put up Jesus in the courthouse either, even though this country is based on Christian values. But it is a violation of the separation of church and state clause. But if allowing the 10 Commandments to chill there means I have to look at Baphomet with his dick out every time I go to pay off a parking ticket. Anyway, I didn't mean to go on that great big giant rant, but that's at the core of what I just read you, which is Dragon Age Inquisition, Dragon Age The Veilguard is in promotion of all of that gross, creepy, liberal, diverse, inclusive, woke, whatever frickin' euphemism for dudish, which itself is a euphemism for a certain people of a certain racial extent that are the progenitors of all of this ideology. Whatever euphemism you want to use and whatever level of bigotry you're comfortable with admitting to in order to resist this shit, because a lot of people are just still really uncomfortable with admitting that you have to be a big scary bigot to protect normalcy, because the people who are very interested in calling you a bigot are anything but normal. They're anything but safe. They're anything but dignified. They're anything but good at their job or capable of making a quality project. And they hate you and hope you die. And they want to rape your children. Literally. It's not an exaggeration. This is not a joke. Okay? I'm not trying to be funny. This is very serious. And a lot of people, they might not want to protest. They might still be uncomfortable with voting for somebody who makes mean tweets on the internet. They might be uncomfortable with admitting that voting itself is kind of a moot point when the government actually doesn't run this country, but moneyed interests like banks and hedge funds and pharmaceutical corporations run this country, and Congress does not. I mean, again, it depends on what level of red pill you're on, but everybody is kind of getting to the point where they're just sick of seeing sick, degenerate, satanic shit in their video games. They're tired of it. They want to escape from daily life, which increasingly, one of the frustrations of daily life is that these freaks have taken over like every corporate HR department in the country. So you can't get away from these people. You probably have to spend time at work sitting down watching a 60-minute infomercial like seminar on why you can't even look at wrong or change your tone or change up your energy at all. You got to keep that same mojo with Christine, the new hire, who's a dude with a thicker beard than mine, but he's in a dress and he's got stuffed balloons under his shirt and really wants to talk to you about little kids shows like My Little Pony and shit. And you just really have to accept Christine for who they are. And a lot of people just want to go play a video game, which, by the way, Dragon Age, I have played the first 3 games, used to be very dark, very serious, and very mature. It was about a country on the brink of an apocalypse. It was kind of like Lord of the Rings, if Lord of the Rings was a lot more grim and a lot less optimistic about what's going on, and a lot more just kind of painful. And it was also a game that was kind of for elitist people, and that Dragon Age was difficult. It was, especially if you're playing on console and couldn't really accurately, it wasn't really designed to be played in real time, and it also wasn't really designed to be played with a controller. So in order to play on anything even approaching like normal mode on that game, you'd have to do a lot of pausing and individually issuing orders, and it played more like a turn-based game. And that apparently didn't test very well with people because Dragon Age 2 is a lot stupider. And Dragon Age 3 was fucking brain dead. You could just sit there pressing A or X if you're on PlayStation all fucking day until the game beat itself. It was like playing Final Fantasy 13. It was embarrassing. And the storyline sucked and was very childish. And the graphics looked good, but all the characters were ugly and gay and lame. So even though I played through and didn't hate Dragon Age 3, I'd score it like a 5.5. I'd score Dragon Age 2 like a 5.5. And I'd score Dragon Age 1 Origins as like 7.5 to 8. It was a good game. Really fucking hard to the point of sometimes not being fun to play, but I found a charm in that you could literally fuck yourself and have your party members look at one choice you made and go from loving you to instantaneously trying to kill you or permanently abandoning your party and taking all the gear they're wearing with them. It was a serious game for adults. And now you're looking at, even if you ignore all the gay shit, all the transgender surgery scar shit, all the fucking really ugly character models, and the fact that the gameplay is brain dead, stupid, retard tier hack and slash that takes no effort whatsoever to play. Okay, so there's nothing about it that is in any way a return to form. But even if you took away that it looks ugly, even though if you took away that it's gay, even if you took away that the gameplay is just completely antithetical and alien to the original formula, the dialogue between these characters sounds like a preschooler talking to like a cartoon. It sounds like Dora the Explorer. It sounds like not even SpongeBob SquarePants levels of intellectual like ability to handle what's being said. Like the characters talk like a preschool teacher talking to 3 and 4-year-olds. It's really shamefully embarrassing and cringe. And I can't even imagine being a homosexual, pro-transgender ally who doesn't like to be challenged by games and likes to use excuses like, I don't know, God all day, I got a job, I can't actually play a game, I just kind of want an interactive movie because I just want to shut my brain off, dude. I can't imagine being one of these people and being impressed by the dialogue in this. And there's actually no shortage of really creepy, weird people who will probably have lots of pictures they shouldn't have on their hard drive of children, who are saying on Twitter, saying on YouTube, saying on Reddit, this game isn't, I'm a transgender, I'm gay, I'm this, I'm that, I'm black, I'm queer, whatever. And this game is insulting and embarrassing and fucking stupid and lame, and I want my money back. That's where we're at. There is nobody with a shred of intellectual honesty whatsoever that has anything positive to say about this game. You are either a paid shill and a mercenary, and your opinion is worthless because you're not out here for yourself or for the consumer or to communicate or to judge brands based on their merit. You're here to be paid to endorse things. You are a shill, or because EA Bioware and the developers of this game have expressed very seriously that this game is propaganda. It is woke diversity, whatever the fuck you want to call it, Jewish propaganda. It is meant to espouse a socio-political mindset. And you agree with that mindset, therefore you will, again, lie about the quality of the game overall and shill for it. As in, again, you're a paid con artist. I don't believe there's an intellectually honest person on the planet who can give more than a mildly, apathetically, slightly positive rating to this game. Like, honestly, I gave to Inquisition, which was a lot less gay and a lot less cringe and a lot less terribly designed than Veilguard. Or 2, which was better than Inquisition, even though people said Inquisition was a return to form, which is a lie. And, like, I called those lukewarm. I like to think of myself as a fan of the original game, but that game came out a generation ago. And I mean a human generation ago. It came out 3 console generations ago. Who gives a fuck? Dragon Age isn't dead. It is dust in a sarcophagus that is long forgotten beneath the fucking pyramids. It's not anywhere even remotely near alive nor freshly dead. And I'm not that offended that the Veilguard is repeatedly dredging up and fucking the skull sockets of its corpse with its ugly frickin' tranny dick. I don't care about that. What I care about is the people who claim that this game is Veilguard is a return to form, because those people are liars, shameless frauds. And that's disgusting and immoral on every level. It doesn't even matter if you agree or don't agree with politics. We can take all my opinions on the politics of this game and all of EA Bioware's opinions of the politics game out of the equation and just look at gameplay and dialogue and RPG choices that you can make. and it's been one of the biggest complaints reported by literally fucking everybody honest about this game, is you are not allowed to disagree with your party members. Even if that's only half true, the fact that you're basically role-playing as the party leader and are being forced to make decisions by NPCs in the game that you don't agree with, automatic violation of the spirit and ethos of this franchise as it supposedly exists. And maybe the one thing that has stayed somewhat hallowed from Dragon Age 1 to Dragon Age 3 and its spinoff, okay, is that you are ultimately the boss of the party, and though some party members may fuck off because they cannot tolerate decisions you've made, your decisions are still final. That's apparently gone from this game. So to say it is returned to form is to fucking lie. There is no one who said that in the entirety of gaming media who is telling the truth. Not one fucking person. Not one. Every single person who used the words return to form is a paid shill liar. If you subscribe to people like that, you should be ashamed of yourself. If you trust people like that, you're a fucking idiot. I'm not saying you can't watch people like that, but you should have, for the rest of that person's channel's entire fucking existence, or their blog, or whatever, you should have a titanic mountain of grains of salt to take with this person. You should have Lot's wife chilling right here, a pillar of fucking salt, because that person is a paid liar. And they can never remove that stain, ever, from their personality. It's permanent. You can't take that back. Thanks for watching.